and welcome back to Work Wednesday. It's our first one in Dubai with Hasan. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm pleased to be in Dubai.
Yeah. How has it been? Can I have...
It's been good. Yeah, it's been good.
I've introduced Hasan to this,
yeah,
which he already opened his. You went for...
the pomegranate.
Okay, mine is pineapple. Okay, cool. Yes, tell me.
Yeah, it's been nice. It's been a nice change. It's nice to get out of the country after over 2 years. I was thinking with my wife, Minna, I was thinking like we had, in our first year, we went abroad 6 times. And then in the last 2 years, over 2 years, we've gone nowhere. Zero. So it's just really nice to get out.
Wow.
I'm just really happy to get out.
Yeah, and Dubai is a great place.
It's a great place
to get out
to, yeah.
So in order to celebrate the fact that it is the first Work Wednesday, we have cake. And obviously it's red velvet from Hummingbird. So
thank you,
we're going to cut this cake.
Let's do it. I'm going to try this at the same time.
Do it. Big celebration day today. Woo.
Yeah.
Good?
It's nice.
It's nice, right?
It doesn't, I mean, it just tastes like a fizzy juice. It doesn't really taste that much different.
No.
I like it.
Ta-da. There we go.
Thank
Red
you
velvet
very
is my
much.
favourite cake. What's your favourite cake?
I think I'd have to go with chocolate.
But you know red velvet is just chocolate with food colouring in it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I like chocolate fudge. But then I also had, Minna once made me a mocha cake.
Ooh.
It was like coffee and chocolate and it was so good.
Was it good?
Really good.
Okay.
It was really nice, yeah. I'm looking at Minna behind the camera now. So
Yeah, Minna's behind the camera. Hello, Minna.
Hi.
So, what are we here to talk about, Hasan?
What are we here to talk about?
Yeah, you tell me.
Okay, so yesterday, when we were having really nice burgers from Salt
At Kite Beach.
at Kite Beach,
Yeah.
we were discussing abundance mindset because I was like, I'm thinking for the second book, maybe, I mean, this is literally just very early stage, idea stage. Maybe I want to talk about abundance mindset and how sort of if you grow up with more of a scarcity mindset because immigrant background, you didn't have a lot of abundance in your life, financially speaking. It's a very big shift in thinking.
It is.
To think like, let's invest the money, to actually make a shift to think that time, and this applies to most people who are just going from being a student to making money. It's like, you go from time being the most abundant thing, like, oh, I've got all the time in the world, I should do everything myself, and I should save as much money as possible, to then time being the scarce thing, and then money is like abundant in the sense that you can make more, right? It's not like it's never ending. It's not like you're super wealthy, but it's just a case of like money is okay. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So yeah, abundance mindset is really interesting because it works in so many different ways.
Yeah. So I think I've obviously lost practice with Work Wednesday. I should have introduced Hasan a bit better than this. So obviously Hasan is a friend of mine, but he is the co-author of The Unfair Advantage, which is a wonderful book. I have a signed copy and you should definitely get it. And I've learned so much from that, just generally recognizing your privileges and using those, right? And just basically to read the book. But yesterday, as Hasan said, we were having a chat and we were thinking what to talk about. And then it clicked that this is one thing we have in common, is just this shift in mindset when it comes to when you come from not having abundance of money, and then we don't have abundance of money now, but we are better off than we used to be, or what our parents used to be like at our age. So it's this shift in mentality, and we thought we'd explore that a bit more today over cake.
Yeah, so they say things like, there are loads of books about like having the right mindset for money. I still remember I went to a seminar called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind back in 2011. Damn, that makes me feel really old. And basically, like cheesy titles and stuff, but it kind of got a lot of value with it. It's based on a book by a guy called T. Harv Eker, which I can't even remember if I've read or if I've read some of it, but the concept there being like this idea of if you have a mindset towards money that's like, you think money is evil, or people who have money are bad, and there are a lot of people who have these kind of limiting beliefs that you get brought up with in terms of money, that can hold you back because you can kind of, I don't know, like push away opportunities without considering it, or you can just kind of spend all the money that you get because you think holding on to it is bad, or the opposite, you don't spend and you save too much and you go the opposite extreme. So I've always been fascinated about mindsets with money, and there's this idea of like you put, and I don't believe it, these are like more extreme mindsets where it's like, yeah, rich people and this goes back to the book, because it's about like, do you earn success? Do you merit it? Or is it kind of luck and fates and stuff like that? And in the book, we talk about how it's in between. Obviously, it's both luck and some earned advantages as well. So it's kind of unfair advantages are based on like privileges and based on things like that. Yeah. So the more extreme kind of thoughts behind like wealth and stuff. I'll give you an example, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. In that book, he talks about like taxes is a form of theft, and this kind of idea of like everybody needs to earn their way, and everything that's people have wealth, they've earned it, and you have to think like you have to congratulate them, and you have to like try and live up to what they're doing, that kind of mindset. Yeah. So one of those mindsets is this idea that if you take a rich person and you take away all their money, and you take a poor person and you take away whatever money they have, like the rich person will then be able to build up very quickly back to the level they were at.
Wow.
So this idea of like there being almost like a money thermostat, like these concepts of like, I need this much money to be comfortable. So it's almost like, if you set a thermostat of a room, it'll be that temperature, and then it'll keep adjusting until it is. So I've always found it fascinating, and I've always tried to think about myself. So I grew up always thinking quite frugally, trying to always compare prices, trying to always get the best deal.
Do you also look at the per litre, per kg price in the supermarket?
In the supermarkets.
Yeah, we've all learned how to do that.
And it's like, you reach a point in your life where you're like, I'm not a student anymore.
No.
I'm wasting more time than I could make. So in economics, there's this concept of opportunity cost.
Yes, of
it's
course.
It's like whatever you do, what's the other thing that you could have been doing?
What are you not doing?
What are you missing out on?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a massive piece of this, is like opportunity cost. And so I think, okay, I'm saying that. So I did this for this trip. Mina knows I did this massively for coming to Dubai, because we hadn't been traveling for 2 years. So okay, where should we go? We're over-optimizing it basically. Like over-optimizing the trip, how to get the best deal, how to have the nicest places, but really, it's not a good use of my time.
No.
And it's that shift, and how
the
have you been
extra money
shifting? The extra money you're saving. How much hours did I put into doing that? Because now, like, I'm a business coach, and I can make a lot of money per hour, and it's like, what's going on? Why are we doing this with ourselves? Have you found yourself doing that? And what's that been like to you?
So this house where we are from right now, so when I was going house hunting, I knew that I really wanted something furnished, and everyone kept telling me, no, not furnished will be better. It's cheaper, and then you can buy the furniture for cheap, and then I sat down trying to do the maths, asking people how much are bills monthly. If you furnish from IKEA, how much is it? If you don't furnish from IKEA, and I kept adding up everything, seeing here how much is it. And I was like, why am I wasting my time? I was like, my office is literally giving me a relocation bonus that covers it. And I was like, why am I doing this? I was like, what am I going to do with this extra like 2,000 dirhams I'll save? Nothing that will change my life. And I was like, it's just convenience. And it's that shift in that mindset of, I can afford it, I should do it, instead of wasting my time overanalyzing, overthinking it. And when it clicked in my head that I could do it, it was such a big relief.
Yeah.
And now that's why yesterday when you were talking about this, I was like, this is definitely something that's been on my mind as well. The whole, how do I do the shift? Because you also don't want to shift too far on the spectrum where now you're spending on everything without thinking. Like, for example, I take taxis every day to work. And I was thinking about this, being like, it adds up, because if every time you're like, it's just £10, it's just £10, but the £10 add up. But then again, as you said, it's the right balance, right? So I think we all click at some point, but then how do you know where's the right balance?
Really, for me, I think of it like, and I was saying this to you yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So if you keep thinking, and these are the kind of mindsets I grew up with, is like, look after the pennies and the pounds will look after themselves. Just be careful, make sure you're not overspending, make sure you're not getting taken advantage of. That's another thing.
Oh yeah.
We're overly vigilant over
people are out there to get you.
They're out there to get me, they're out there to scam me. Oh my God, I've got to really be careful. And it's this kind of scarcity thinking, because you don't think you can make more.
Yeah.
Whereas if you start to think more offensively minded, in other words, you're like, okay, the best form of defense is attack. So if you think of it as like, defense is saving money and attack is making money, like, by far, anybody who's become wealthy isn't because they've saved the pennies and not bought lattes and not bought avocado toast. It's because they've actually made businesses, or they made investments, or they have unfair advantages of having money already in their family, and therefore they could like inherit it, or they could invest it,
or they hit the jackpot with an idea, right?
In an idea. So a lot of it is about like making that shift to thinking, you know what? There's the idea. So this goes back to Rich Dad Poor Dad. One of the main concepts of that book is that you can split spending into two categories: assets and liabilities.
Okay.
Assets are things that are going to make you more money, or, or you're going to keep generating value and you're going to make more money from them, or liabilities, which they're going to keep taking money. So people will think like a car is an asset. I could sell it for money, but as soon as you drive a new car off the lot, they say it loses half its value or something.
Yeah.
So actually, the idea is that you have to really be conscious of how you're spending your money. But then if you think about your own labor and your own mindset and your own energy levels, if you can maintain your energy levels and therefore generate more value for yourself through your work, through your freelancing, through your business, through your little side hustle, through your YouTube, then it's going to be well worth saving the headache of like furnishing a place and making the IKEA furniture and doing all that crap. So, but we have to acknowledge that this comes from a privileged mindset. If you're a student and you're poor, or you just don't have a particular job, or you're in a different part of the world, like this stuff isn't. You don't just make a shift and that's it.
No.
You have to first think, how do I make money? I guess. And it sounds very blunt, like how do I make money? But like it kind of is that. It's how do you generate value so that people or society or companies will pay you for the value that you're generating?
Yeah, and I think you're right. Like we were all students at some point. Your budgeting is different when you're a student because you're limited in how much money you have and you have expenses. But then when you start earning, your budget grows a little, but obviously your responsibility grows and then you have more things to account for. But I think budgeting is really important, understanding what is important for you that you don't want to compromise on. For example, for me, it's comfort and I need that. And then you can give yourself a little bracket of, okay, here I will be comfortable if I keep spending this or not, and this much I need to save. And it's just about being very honest with how much money you want to spend and how much you want to keep, and then prioritizing what's important for you. And I think that's the shift in mindset, rather than thinking I will spend as little as possible and save the maximum amount, because obviously, as you said, that's a place of privilege. But I think once you reach that level, we were talking about the different levels, right? I don't remember where I read this, but they said that there are different levels of financial independence kind of thing, where the first level is where you don't look at the prices of food in restaurants anymore.
Right, yeah.
That's when you've reached one level where you don't need to account for how much money you are paying for food. The second one is air travel. So when you don't look at flight tickets anymore, you just look at your destination and the date and time that you want, and you book it. You don't even know how much it costs. And the third one is then when you don't know how much anything costs because you just don't care anymore.
Blissfully out of touch.
Yeah. And I can say that we are comfortably past the first level now.
Yeah.
And you're probably also past the second level at this point.
I mean, like flight tickets isn't going to make or break.
No.
As long as it's not always business or something like that, it's going to be fine.
Yeah. So realistically, a flight ticket, you're not going to go bargain for the cheapest option or anything. You would look for the most convenient one for you. And I think that means that you're very comfortable. And it's just recognizing that, rather than even at this level thinking, no, but if I take the flight that's at midnight on a Wednesday night, it's going to be cheaper, so I'm just going to sacrifice my sleep to do that. Then it's just that kind of balance that we're talking about.
Exactly. And you know what, ultimately, everything, it's really thinking fundamentally, what is being outsourced and what are you doing yourself? And it actually applies more than you think. So for example, buying bagged salad leaves, that's because you don't want to chop vegetables or wash lettuce leaves and all of that and gather them. And a lot of guides to do with financials and stuff, they'll be like, that's such a waste of money, make your own salads. And it's like, yeah, but the convenience factor, it's the same as hiring somebody to do it in your own kitchen, but you're getting it directly from the supermarket like that. But people don't think of it that way. So even like this table, we can get some piece of wood and we can try and do the carpentry and make, you could do that. Yeah. And people don't realize that there isn't actually a clear line where you're going to say, all right, here's, you could actually start farming your own lettuce leaves and your own salad leaves. So
grow your vegetables, yeah.
Yeah, so we're in a time of specialization, and what you have to realize is, where are your unfair advantages? Use those to generate the lifestyle that you want.
Yeah.
So, and also, another factor that I wanted to bring into this is, this advice applies for people, I think, like us, who are more naturally saving type. They save. Some people just naturally spend. And I think this is also from that Millionaire Mindset book, actually. And I remember at the event, they'll split us up. They'll be like, who here is a spender? And then you go join that group. Who here is a saver? Go join. And you realize, okay, I'm with my own kind. So because personality types can be split in so many different ways, and it might not be innate. Some of it might be innate. Some of it might be how you brought up.
Yeah.
But like this advice shouldn't be taken by those who are spending frivolously and in credit card debt and all of this. That's terrible. Don't do that. Like so. I think one of the things that when we wrote the book, when we wrote The Unfair Advantage, is one of the reasons we wrote it the way we did, is in a non-prescriptive way, is because we really thought like the answer to, like, for example, a typical question we'd get is like, should I quit my job to focus fully on my startup?
Right.
And it's like, well, the answer is it depends.
You need to make that. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends, right? Should I drop out of university to focus on starting a startup? The answer is it depends.
There are factors that need to be considered, yeah.
So this is the thing. So it's like we wanted to give that background. Okay, it depends on your own circumstances. It depends on your unfair advantages. It depends on the timing of the situation. We have this whole Miles framework to break it down. But one way that I describe it is that just like medicine, it's slowly becoming more and more personalized. Like you were talking about the genetics, like 23andMe or something. Yeah. Like they'll tell you you're likely to get this disease. Stay away from, I don't know, stay away from too much salt because your type of genetics will get affected by it. Yeah. And actually, most people don't get affected by a lot of salt. It doesn't affect their blood pressure. Yeah. So little things like that. That's personalized medicine. I think advice is going from the era of the 80s and 90s of like Tony Robbins getting huge sellout stadiums, telling everybody to do the same thing, to now saying, okay, I need to know myself first. Know thyself, understand your own circumstances, understand your own strengths and privileges and talents, and then make a decision based on that, based on what you want to achieve as well, what your why is. So I think the same thing applies here. Like, understand if you're a spender or you're a saver. Understand if you're in the circumstances to think this way, and to give yourself like a what was that thing, like when you have an aspirational hourly wage. Yes. Right. If you want to think about having an aspirational hourly wage, obviously not everybody in the world could have that. Yes. You know, not everybody has access. I don't know to loads of different things that we have to be so grateful for. I think that's a huge piece of like having an abundance mindset. Is thinking like I could do this, I can make this happen, I can make this work, and it's like it's to do with courage as well. Yeah, like being brave and thinking and not thinking, but what if all these bad things happen? So it's a balance, right? It really is a balance.
Yeah, you need to assess the risk always, and I think that's when you assess whether, for example, when people ask you, shall I just quit my day job and become full-time influencer? You're just like, well, I don't know. Like, do you have mouths to feed? Like, how much money are you making? How much money will you make after you quit? And it's just a lot of things you need to take into account and risk assess, and that's what we're saying. And it's a very good caveat that you put, that we are just talking as people who tend to save when we don't have to, you know, and just cut corners where we don't need to cut corners. And it's this journey of appreciating what we have, being grateful for it, and not feeling the need to have a hard life just because that's considered more correct because you need to be saving money. And I also think, so this is another conversation I've had with someone who was very, very young. They were like 18 or something. And they said, I am going to start work now in a corporate job and retire early and then spend all of that money. And I was like, are you sure you're going to be alive by that time? Are you sure the world will exist? Like, we've seen the past 2 years how things just go boom. And she was like, I am sure I'll be alive. And I was like, okay. Then you can't argue with someone like that. But what I'm saying is more that you don't know what's in the future. So if you keep saving to enjoy your life later on, like, you don't know if you're going to be there. Are you going to be healthy enough to enjoy it? Is your money going to all go? Does money not mean anything? Like, for example, in Lebanon at the moment, money has no value. Yeah. So, or the money has depreciated. So what to do with millions in the bank account if it means nothing? So there's this mindset of have a comfortable life if you can, and obviously save for bad things that can happen, but at the same time, you know, you need to strike that right balance based on your personal situation. And I think we are both making our way down that journey a little with like one step at a time.
Yeah, it takes time. I mean, I did it, for me it was when I started my first business, and I know one of the things that really held me back is to actually pay for, at that stage I needed a developer to develop my website.
Yeah.
And I was like so scared to like pull the trigger. I think for YouTubers it's like hiring an editor.
Oh yeah, I went through that.
It's like terrifying because it's like, I'm actually putting money in. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you've been putting so much time in. Do you not value your time?
So your time means nothing.
It means nothing.
Yeah.
I can spend as much time as I want, but my money, oh my God, I'm not going to spend, £30, £100, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that really held me back in my first business. And I've made a lot of shifts since then.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't think that everything needs to be done yourself. You have to just think strategically.
Yeah.
What do you also enjoy doing as well? That can
Yes.
also be a part of it. Some people enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
There's another thing which is like some business advice is like you need to just outsource everything. If you ever catch yourself doing the hoovering, then you know that's wrong and stuff like that. And I think it's like at the end of the day, sometimes moving around, sometimes like doing some housework, it might be a good unwinding thing. Like
Yeah.
I watch YouTube and stuff on my
Yeah.
AirPods or listen to podcasts or audiobooks while I'm like doing dishes and stuff when I'm doing the dishes. Not everything is black and white.
Yeah.
And I think you do have to really think about what is your time worth, and really start to think about not just money having the value, but also seeing value as a bigger thing.
Yeah.
And as a broader thing. There's another should we go deeper into this abundance mindset? Should we like go even a little bit more?
I mean,
mention something else about it.
we probably are almost done with the video now.
Yeah.
But you can feel free to share.
I want to just touch on this just so people just realize it's not just about like spending money, but like abundance mindset is also about there's a saying which is that the hungry don't get fed, which is weird because wouldn't the people want to help the hungry, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's this idea of like when you badly want something, you're less likely to get it. So I'm saying that metaphorically, like hungry don't get fed.
Right.
But like if you badly want a job and you're desperate for a job, when you come across in an interview, you're not going to come across very well. Desperation is never sexy. It's never good. Like, and speaking of sexy, like it's not good for relationships as well, right?
Yeah.
Abundance mindset could be to do with relationships, could be to do with business deals, could be to do with getting a job.
Right.
And having an abundance mindset means, you know what? I have faith that things are going to work out for me. I'm not going to be desperate for this.
Right. So if this doesn't work out, there must be something else.
There's going to be something else for me. As long as I keep trying, luck will turn in my favor. Fate, it's in God's hands. However you want to think about it.
It's the right timing, kind of thing.
It's the right timing.
Yeah.
It didn't happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. These mindsets are all useful to have, and it comes from abundance as well.
Oh, wow.
It's to have faith that things can work out.
Okay.
And that's a huge part of abundance mindset as well. So it's not just this financial side, which is a huge, obviously. Yeah.
I mean, this is a beautiful thing Hasan has just shared, and I think I've experienced that because when I was applying for jobs back in like November 2020, and I was getting very desperate because I kept getting rejection, and obviously in consulting this is very normal. Like everyone goes through thousands of rejections, and I was just like, oh my God, this is never gonna happen. I should just give up, find something else. And then my dad said the same thing to me basically. He was like, look, the right thing will happen at the right time. You just need to keep working and it will happen. But if you worry about it too much, you're not helping, and like your anxiety and your stress doesn't improve the outcome of the situation. And I was like, that is true. So then I stopped worrying and I took it very relaxed, and I got the next interview that I did. I got the job in January, which is what I'm doing now, and it's so much better than all the ones I wanted. I wanted to be in London.
Amazing.
And this one is in Dubai, and it's the best decision I've ever taken. And you're right, like it's just about believing in yourself and knowing that if you work hard and you put in the effort, things will work out, and things that do not work out are just not meant to be.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's just thinking like more opportunities will come.
Yeah.
That kind of, because the more you try to hold on to something, the less likely it will happen, or the more likely you'll lose it. It's like it's this weird mystical, almost mystical side of life where if you obsess. It's like, some self-development things, they say you need to want it badly enough. And it's like, that's just one side of the equation. You need to want it, but also you need to be okay with not getting the specific one that you had your mind on. Like, you can't want a specific job or want a specific girl or guy.
Yeah.
You can't, like, if it doesn't, the universe doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
Right? So, but you have to say in general, I know this is going to work out.
Yeah.
Whether it's this guy or this girl, or whether it's this job or this client, that's okay.
It's okay.
That's abundance mindset. Yeah.
Well, that was very deep. Thank you for sharing that.
No worries.
how was your experience at Work Wednesday?
I loved it.
Yeah?
It was great. It was really fun.
So
yeah. I'm
next-
glad to be in the first Dubai one.
You're in
It's
the
really
first
cool.
Dubai
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So next time, I don't know where we'll be next time we do a Work Wednesday.
Yeah.
When the second book comes out, probably.
Second book comes out, who knows?
Yeah.
You come to London, I come back to Dubai.
There we go.
We'll see.
And the link to Hasan's book will be in the description box below. Do check it out. Well, thank you for being here, Hasan.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
No,
It's been
I
fun.
hope you enjoy the rest of your Dubai trip.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.